There we are. So good morning to Sue and to Di, who have the recording of me. So we're going to start at the bottom of your mat in Tadasana. So just come and stand, excuse me, at the bottom of your mat. Find your Tadasana. So find that grounding through the soles of your feet. Really spread your toes wide. Really feel as though you've got a good connection with the mat. So if you lift your toes up and away from the mat and then place them back down, try and do it as though you're placing them down one toe at the time. So you can go from the little toe side, working your way through all of the toes, right down to the first toe, the big toe, and you'll have that feeling that you spread the toes a little bit wider. And then send your inner arches down towards the mat. So as you do that, you'll feel that your knees will start to come in a little bit closer. It'll almost feel as though you're starting to twist them, and they'll come in a little bit closer. So what we want to do is to make sure our kneecaps are pointing forward. So draw them out. Imagine there's headlights on the front of your kneecaps and they're pointing forward along your mat. So as you do that, you will create some strength in your legs. Your calves and your thighs and your shins will all engage. So hopefully you can feel that connection with the mat, that strength in the legs. Now just check in with your knees. So we don't want our knees to be locked, and we don't want any tension in our legs either. We just want strength. So use your breath to try and release any tension. Use your out breath. I want you to feel as though you're almost floating from your mat, which is a funny statement because we're making this strong connection with the mat, but there's also going to be a sort of a lightness about your body as you're just feeling strong, making that connection, standing tall in your Tadasana, but no tension in the body. There should be a lightness there. And then work your way up to your pelvis. So just imagine that your pelvis is this oval-shaped bowl of water. So if you were to tilt it forward, so tucking your bum under, you'd be tipping water down your back. And if you tip it in the other direction, so that you're sticking your bum out a bit, creating this dip in the spine, you'll send water down the front of the body. So we don't want to spill a drop. So find that neutral position. So your bum is sort of slightly tucked under, your tummy muscles are engaged, you're finding this strength in Tadasana. Just double check what happened with your knees when you did that, because sometimes when we move another part of the body, we tense up somewhere else. So release the knees. And then work your way up to your shoulders. So just relax the shoulders down. So really, so almost bring the shoulder blades together and let them slide down the back body, relaxing the shoulders down. Double check in with your tummy, double check in with your knees. Your gaze is just forward or to the tip of your nose. So imagine that I'm pulling you up by the crown of your head. So your neck is long, your spine is nice and straight. You're standing here in Tadasana, but it's completely effortless. There's no tension anywhere. You can take your hands to the heart center. Just let them settle here in Anjali Mudra, hands, palms together. Closing your eyes, just have a moment. Just checking in. How are you feeling this morning? Where have you got your little aches and pains? Which bits need extra attention? I could start a long list with mine at the moment. So just breathing in through the nose, out through the nose, allowing everything to settle. So what we're going to be doing today is we're working on strengthening and freeing up through the joints. So we're going to do some repetitive movements, so a little bit like the Vinyasa that we did the other week. And we are bringing in those 3 Vinyasa moves, which are Chaturanga, when that's 8 limbed pose, when there's 8 parts of your body that touch the floor. Chaturanga, up dog and down dog. But we'll start off with Chaturanga, baby cobra and down dog. And then we're moving into some balances, and we're going to do this really mindfully. So no rush at all, mindfully moving through the flow and moving into the balance, just testing out how our bodies are feeling this morning. Balances are really good for us because they strengthen our bones, they strengthen the muscles around the bones. It's really good for osteoporosis. It's good to maintain your balance when we get to a certain age. We don't want to fall. I include myself in that. So just take another deep breath in through the nose. As you breathe out through the nose, just drop your chin to your chest. Just feel that nice stretch through the back of the neck, starting to wake up through the neck and the shoulders. Release your hands to alongside your body. Open your eyes and inhale your head back upright. Welcome to class. So we're going to start off with a few prostrations. So we've done these before. These are the ones that I told you about a Buddhist nun doing them in a repetitive way. And they're a nice way just to get some movement into your back and into your legs and into your shoulders. So keeping your Tadasana, keeping that strength. Inhale, take your hands out wide, reach up and overhead. Bring your palms together. As you exhale, slide your hands down through the midline, bend your knees and your hips. Just gently come down to the mat and walk your hands out. You're going to lower the whole of your body down to the mat. Reaching your hands forward, rest your chin or your forehead down. So reaching long along the mat. Inhale, slide your hands back towards your shoulders, lifting your body up and away from the mat. As you exhale, tuck your toes, walk your hands back towards your feet, and slowly bring yourself back upright. Hands out wide, reaching up. Exhale into the heart center. Going to do it once more. Inhale, hands out wide, reaching up and overhead. Sliding the hands down through the midline. So do this really mindfully. Just feel your body bending, coming down to the mat. Walking your hands out along the mat, lowering your hips, your knees. Lower your chin or your forehead. Reach your arms forward. Inhale, slide your hands towards the sides of your chest. Start to lift yourself up and away, send your hips back. Lifting your toes, bringing your hands back towards you. Inhale, lifting yourself up. Hands come up and overhead. Exhale to the heart center. Once more, inhale, hands out wide, reaching up and overhead. Take your gaze to your palms. Exhale your hands down through the midline, bend your knees, bend your hips, slowly does it. Walking your hands out along the mat, lowering yourself down to the mat, reaching your hands forward. Inhale, hands to the side of the chest, lifting your chest, exhaling as you send your hips back, walking your hands back to your knees, lifting yourself up. Inhale, taking your hands out wide, up and overhead. Exhale to the heart center. So a little warm up, getting everything moving. Checking in with your body, you're back into Tadasana, back at the end of your mat. Find that connection with the mat, let everything settle, no tension anywhere. Release your shoulders. Just take a few breaths here. We're going to go into a nice warming flow. All mindfully, I want you to think about every move that you're doing. Think about all those muscles and bones moving as you go through this, and don't jam yourself into anything. We're just doing it all slowly and mindfully, testing out our bodies this morning. Inhale, take your hands out wide, reach up and overhead. Exhale, hands through the midline, bending your knees and your hips, coming down into Uttanasana. So maybe your fingertips come to the mat, don't force your hands down, just find that Uttanasana, drop your head. Inhale, just walk your hands out in front. You're coming into plank. So holding in plank for a breath. On your next exhalation, take your knees to the mat, lift your feet up and away from the mat. So we're doing our Chaturanga, so that's 8 points, 2 hands, 2 knees, chin and chest. Inhale, exhale as you send your chin and your chest down to the mat, sliding it through, releasing your feet. Arms are tight alongside your body. You're in baby cobra. We're not doing any more than this. Just allowing your chest to come up a little way from the mat, baby cobra. Inhale. As you exhale, start to lift your chest up and away from the mat. Send your hips back to your heels. You're in child's pose. Reach your hands forward. Feel that opening through the shoulders. Inhale, bring yourself back into all fours. Exhale, toes into the mat, lift your heels. You're coming up to downward facing dog. So this is our first down dog. So walk your feet and really bend your knees so that your hips are slightly twisting. You're feeling that twist all the way up into the back, maybe into the shoulders. So walking your feet, easing into downward facing dog. Let your head drop through your arms. And then allow your heels to come back to the mat. Inhale. As you exhale, step your feet forward. You'll come in to your Uttanasana. Let your head drop down towards the mat. You're in forward fold. Maybe your hands come a little bit closer. Have that feeling of sending the heels to the mat, the hips up to the ceiling. Inhale, slide your fingertips up to your shins, create that flat back. So imagine you're tucking an orange between your chin and your chest, holding it there so you're not lifting your chin. It's a straight line from the top of your head to your hips. Inhale. Exhale, slide your hands back to Uttanasana, forward fold. Maybe the hands are coming down a little bit closer now. Inhale and slowly bring yourself up like a rag doll. So let your head hang. Slowly, slowly coming up. Exhale at the top. Inhale, reach your hands up and overhead. Palms come together. Exhale to the heart center. Well done. We're going to go again with that nice warming flow. So stand at the top of your mat this time. We'll slightly change the way we get into plank. So inhale, reach your hands up and overhead. Palms come together. Exhale through the midline. Bending your knees and your hips, coming down to the mat. Uttanasana. Drop the top of the head towards the mat. So bend your knees enough so that your hands are on the mat. Inhale. Exhale, right leg back, left leg back. You're in plank. Take a breath here. Keep those tummy muscles engaged. Keep that straight spine. Inhale. Exhale, knees to the mat. Cross your feet at the ankles with Chaturanga in down. So inhale, exhale, bending your elbows, chin and chest. Sliding through, release the legs. Baby cobra. So your hands tucked in alongside your body, elbows are bent, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Inhale. Start to lift yourself up and away from the mat through all fours. Exhale, toes into the mat, lift yourself up to downward facing dog. A little walk again, easing in to downward facing dog. Keep that movement. And then as you exhale, send your heels towards the mat. Find that length through the back of the legs. Drop your head down through your arms. Inhale, walk your feet back towards your hands. You're in Uttanasana, forward fold. Really send your hips up to the ceiling. Heels down into the mat. Don't lock your knees, so have a softness in the knees. You can try it with your knees locked. If you send your knees back so that your legs are now quite tense, and try and lift your hips. Send your heels to the mat. It's much harder. So if you have that softness in your knees, then you can really feel that you're lifting your hips up to the ceiling, creating that length through the back of the legs and creating that flow. Inhale, come up onto your fingertips now. Send the top of your head out towards the end of your mat, out in front of you. Exhale, hands back to the mat, back to Uttanasana. Slight bend in the knees. Inhale, rolling up like a rag doll. Stacking your vertebrae one on top of the other. One by one. Exhale at the top. Inhale, take your hands out wide, reach up and overhead. Exhale to the heart center. Well done. Take a breath. Nice warming flow. We're moving on to another flow. So this one's a little bit more challenging. Get some movement into the body, and we're going to add some balances at the end. So taking a deep breath in, reaching your hands forward. As you exhale, sit down into your imaginary chair. Now you can keep your hands forward with the palms parallel, or you can lift them, trying to bring them up alongside your ears. Sitting back into that chair. Taking a breath. Exhale, release your hands down to the mat. You're in Uttanasana. Just checking in with this Uttanasana. We've done a few now, so does it feel a little bit freer? Inhale as you come up onto your fingertips. So half forward fold. Remember, you're tucking that orange between your chin and your chest, so don't lift your head. Exhale, hands back to the mat. Step your right foot out, step your left foot out. You're in plank. So find a solid plank. Keep breathing. Tummy muscles engaged. Feel that strength across the shoulders. Inhale. Exhale, knees to the mat. Cross your feet at the ankles. We're coming to Chaturanga. So bending your elbows, send them back. Take your chin and your chest to the mat. Slide it through. Release your legs. And this time on our next inhalation, we're coming up into up dog. Or you can stay in cobra if that's good for you. Otherwise, inhale. Engage your tummy muscles. Up dog. So there's two versions of up dog. Up dog can allow you to keep your hips on the mat, or you can balance on all 10 toes, lifting yourself up, but not having locked elbows. So find the softness in the arms. Taking a breath in. Exhale as you roll over your toes. Bring yourself to downward facing dog. Taking a breath here. So allow your head to just drop through your arms. Inhale. As you exhale, lift your right leg, three-legged dog. So pointing away with those right toes. Inhale. Exhale, shifting your weight forward, bending your right knee, bringing it through towards your chest. You round your back, you create more space. Step your foot through your hands. So we're going to come up into a high lunge. So your hands are still alongside your right foot. Your toes of your left foot are into the mat. And if you find that your balance isn't right, you can drop your left heel down into warrior one position. Otherwise, stay in this lunge position. You see what's right for you. And just have a bit of softness in that back leg, so there can be a bend there. Doesn't need to be rigid and straight. So take a deep breath in, sweeping your hands forward, bringing yourself up, high lunge. So your hands are coming up towards the ceiling. Take 5 breaths here. Just allow yourself to settle into this pose. It's a bit of a balance. Keeping your tummy muscles engaged. Keep breathing. I think that's 5. So on your next exhalation, take your hands back to the mat and step your right foot back into plank. So hold in your plank position for one breath. As you exhale, Chaturanga down. So the Vinyasa moves Chaturanga, crossing your ankles, bending your elbows, send your knee, your chin and your chest rather through, release your feet. Inhale as you come to up dog or cobra. Exhale as you roll over, downward facing dog. Just take a breath here. And we're going to try some balances in a minute. So just come to the mat with your knees. And if you've got a block, just take your block, a block or a brick, and have it towards the right side of your mat, just waiting for you. That's it, everybody's there. And come back to your all fours. Inhale, exhale, lift your hips, come back to downward facing dog. So from downward facing dog, taking a breath, exhaling that right leg out out behind you. Inhale, bringing it in towards your chest, round your back, step the foot through. So we're still working on the right side. Have your hands alongside your right foot. Find that strength. We're going to come up into the high lunge. Inhale, sweeping your hands forward, keeping the bend in your back leg, reaching the hands up. So we're going to try and do our next moves very slowly and mindfully. So find your focus, find your drishti on a point in front of you. We're going to transition into warrior 3 from this position. So really feel that you're grounding your right foot into the mat. Inhale, bring your hands to the heart center. As you exhale, just start to tip your body forward. Lift your left leg up and away from the mat. So we're in warrior 3. Now you can keep your hands to the heart center, or you can take one hand down to that block if this isn't working for you, or you can go close to the wall. Take your hands there. Inhale. Whoops. As you exhale, take your right hand down to your block. Oh, I've got no balance this morning. Right hand down to the block. We're coming into half moon pose. So keeping your left leg out behind you, right hand to the block. Lift your left hand up into the air. You can follow that hand with your head. See how you're doing? Brilliant. That's it. Keep breathing. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Keep breathing. Now slowly and as mindfully and elegantly as you can, inhale, exhale. Just allow the back leg to come back to the mat. Sweep your hands forward, warrior 2. Very elegant. Hands forward. Just check your arms are in balance, so your gaze rather is forward. Third finger of the right hand. So here's another little challenge coming up for you. So as we hold in warrior 2, inhale. Turn your right hand forward, or your right hand to face the ceiling. Slide your left hand down your back leg. You're coming into peaceful warrior. So lift the hand up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, windmill those hands all the way back to the mat. Coming back into that low lunge, sprinter position. So make sure that your hands are in contact with the mat. Inhale, exhale, release the right foot. You're back in plank. Vinyasa, back to the mat. So inhale, exhale, knees to the mat. Cross your feet at the ankles. Chaturanga down, sliding through. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to down dog. Inhale, knees to the mat. Take them wide. Exhale to child's. Take a breath. Inhale, bring yourself back up to all fours, bring your knees back in alignment. Exhale, downward facing dog. Ready to go again on the other side. So walk your hands back towards your feet. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale and slowly bring yourself back up to Tadasana. And then walk yourself to the top of the mat. We're starting with our chair pose, Utkatasana. Inhale, take your hands out in front of you. Exhale as you sit back into that imaginary chair. So reach your hands forward or lift them up alongside your ears for a little bit more of a challenge. Keep the tummy muscles engaged. Inhale, exhale, send your hands to the mat. You're coming into Uttanasana, forward fold. Hips up to the ceiling. Keep that softness in the knees, feel that length as you send the hips up and the heels into the mat. Inhale, come up onto your fingertips. Send the top of the head out in front of you, half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, hands back to the mat. Step your left foot out into plank. Follow it with your right. Inhale, excuse me. Exhale, knees to the mat, chaturanga down, so crossing the ankles, bending the elbows, chin and chest through. Release your feet. Inhale as you come up to baby cobra or up dog, whichever one you fancy. Checking in with your back. Exhale, roll over the feet. Downward facing dog. Heels down to the mat. Inhale. Exhale, left leg up into the air, pointing away with those toes. Inhale as you bend the left leg, bringing it in towards the chest, rounding the back, making that space, stepping the left leg forward. Help it through if you need to. So either grounding that back leg or staying up on the toes, your choice. We're coming up into this high lunge. So feel that connection with your left foot. Engage your tummy muscles. Inhale as you sweep your hands forward, bringing yourself up. High lunge, have a bend in the back knee. Five breaths here. Keep your gaze forward, just at a point in the room or the tip of your nose. Exhale, take your hands back to the mat. Step your left foot back into plank. We're going to Chaturanga down. So our Vinyasa, Chaturanga, up dog, down dog. Inhale, exhale, knees to the mat. Cross the feet at the ankles. Bend the elbows, sliding through. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. So checking in with your down dog, you might need to bring your feet in a little bit closer. Encourage the heels down to the mat. Inhale. Exhale, left leg up into the air, pointing away with the toes. Inhale as you shift your weight forward, bend the knee round the back, step the foot forward through your hands. Checking in with that back leg, it can be grounded or you can be up on your toes. Inhale, bringing yourself up into high lunge. And I should have said, get your block ready on the other side. So let's just sweep down, get your block, place it on the other side, and then bring yourself back to your high lunge. So as you're in this high lunge, feel this opening at the front of your right thigh, the psoas muscle, as you're sending your right knee closer to the mat. So slowly and mindfully, we're going to move into warrior three. Inhale, bring your hands to the heart center. Ground that left foot. Exhale as you slowly move forward. Lift that the right leg rather. Warrior three. Hold it for one breath. And take your left hand down to your block. Inhale, open your right hand up to the ceiling. Follow it with your eyes if your balance is good. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Inhale. Exhale, very slowly and mindfully and elegantly. Take your right foot back to the mat. Open out your hands. Warrior two. That's it. It's tough, isn't it? Makes us want to just go whoosh, back down with a bang. Slowly and mindfully, quite hard to do. Breathing in warrior two. Gaze is down the middle finger of your left hand. Inhale as you turn your left hand to face the ceiling. Slide your right hand down your right thigh. Lift in the hand. Take your gaze to the left hand. Peaceful warrior. Taking a breath in. Exhale as you windmill your hands all the way back to the mat. Coming down into this low lunge. Inhale. Exhale your left leg back into plank. Vinyasa down to the mat. So inhale. Exhale, knees. Cross your ankles. Chaturanga down. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to down dog. Inhale. Exhale. Take your knees to the mat. Take them wide. Hips back to your heels. Child's pose. Well done. So lots of movement Lots of strengthening flows, adding in some balance, helping our muscles, supporting our bones and helping to strengthen the bones as well. And hopefully by doing it slowly and mindfully, bringing some space into your mind as well, bringing some clarity and some focus. On your next inhalation, bring yourself up to all fours, bring your knees back in alignment, toes into the mat. Exhale, lift your hips, come back to downward facing dog. Inhale and walk your hands back towards your feet. Take a breath here. Uttanasana, forward fold. Just compare this forward fold to the first one you did. Does your head feel as though it's dropping closer to the mat? Are your hands really in contact with the mat? Have you got a softness in your knees? Are you sending your hip bones up to the ceiling? Inhale and take your hands out wide and slowly, slowly, slowly bring yourself up to Tadasana, mountain pose. Just release your hands alongside your body. Just let everything settle. Shoulders are down and relaxed, shoulder blades coming together, tummy muscles slightly engaged. And then on your next exhalation, just very slowly bring yourself back to the mat and come to a seated position. So find a comfortable seat. It's quite a good idea to sit on a block. That'll help to release your hips and allow your knees to come down towards the floor. And when I say sit on the block, I mean just perch on the edge. And then your knees will open out nicely. So don't have any discomfort. Feel as though this is a comfortable, stress-free, effort-free pose. We're just going to do a little breathing practice before we finish. So sitting up straight and tall. Have your hands just resting on your knees, or you can hold them in Chin Mudra, which is tucking your first finger in towards the base of your thumb, and just let the backs of your hands rest on your knees. So Chin Mudra gives us more focus. Sometimes it's called Gyan Mudra, and that's where we turn the hands so that the palms face down. You often see this with the Buddhist statues. So Chin Mudra with your hands, the palms facing up, a little bit more open. So find that length in the spine. Your chin is parallel to the floor. So not lifting it up, finding that straightness. Close your eyes. We're going to do a little breathing practice, which is called box breathing. So just allow your breath to flow as you breathe in through the nose, out through the nose. Just your normal pattern, don't force it. Just let it happen, let everything settle. And now on your next inhalation, follow that breath as it comes in through the nose, down the back of the throat, coming down into the lungs, all the way down to the base of the lungs. Feel how it causes your belly to lift, pop out. Exhale, the belly returns. The breath flows out from the lungs, out through the nose. Feel the coolness as the breath comes in. Feel the warmth as it exits. With each exhalation, just allow your body to settle into this seated position. Feel your hips relaxing down into the mat. Feel your shoulders relax. No tension anywhere, no tension in your jaw. Nice deep breaths in. Breathing in once more and count to 2. Breathing out, count to 2. Your count, so they can be as long or as short as is right for you. Just making sure your in breath and your out breath is the same length. Into 2, out for 2. And now let's see if we can extend that to 4. In for 4. Out for 4. No tension, so if that's too much, drop it back, maybe 3. Just don't feel as though you're forcing the breath in or forcing it out. Just have that evenness of breath, same length in, same length out. Doesn't matter what your count is, nobody knows. Just as long as they're even. And now after your next inhalation, I want you to add in a little hold. So breathing in for 4, whatever your count is, hold for half of the length of your in-breath. So if it's 4, hold for 2, breathe out for 4, whatever your count is. Breathing in, hold in for half the time, breathing out, same length as your in-breath. So that again, breathing in, hold for your 2 or your count, breathing out. And now on your next round of breath, as you breathe in for your 4, wherever your count is, hold in for half that time, breathing out for the same length as your in-breath, and then add a hold after the out-breath. The hold is the same length as the hold after the in-breath. Breathing in, hold in for half the time, breathing out. Hold in for half. So keep that going wherever your pattern is. 4, 2, 4, 2, 3, 1.5, 3, 1.5, whatever is right for you. 2, 1, 2, 1. And I want you to visualize as you breathe in, there's an oblong box in front of you. Excuse me. And you breathe in along the top of the oblong box. You hold as you travel down the side of the oblong box. You breathe out along the bottom of the oblong box. You breathe, you hold up the side of the oblong box. So you can see why this is box breathing now. In along the top, hold in down the side, out along the bottom, hold in up the side. Just do a few more rounds and I'll stay silent. So now let go of any control of the breath. Just allow it to come back to your normal breath in, breath out. And then slowly and with as little disruption as possible, just find yourself your Shavasana. So lying down on your mat, grab your blanket or your layer if you need it. And we'll just have a moment lying in Shavasana before we finish. So trying to do it as slowly and mindfully as possible with as little disruption. Lying out on your mat. Just have your feet slightly wider than hip distance apart. Have your hands alongside your body, palms facing up. Breathing in through the nose. Out through the nose. With each exhalation, just allow your body to release into the mat. Just checking in with how you're feeling after your practice this morning. Remembering back to the beginning when we were in Tadasana, any areas that we had that were causing us a problem this morning. How are they feeling now? And more importantly, how is the mind? Do you feel calmer? Do you feel more focused? So starting to bring some movement and awareness back into your body now. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rotate your wrists and your ankles. On your next inhalation, reach your hands up and overhead, pointing your fingers and your toes. Do a full body stretch. And as you exhale, just allow your arms to rest down onto the floor behind you. Inhale and bend your knees, bringing your feet close to your hips. Exhale over onto your right hand side. Support your head in your outstretched arm. And bring your knees up close to your chest in the fetal position. Just give yourself a touch and a virtual pat on the back for doing your class this morning. When you're ready, very slowly bringing yourself up to an upright seated position. And we'll finish with our 3 breaths together. So sitting up straight and tall, take your hands out to the side, fingertips to the mat. Find that length in the spine, shoulders are down and relaxed. Inhale, reaching up and overhead. Exhale to the heart center. Inhale, out and wide. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you feel a little bit looser.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
Thank you, Suzanne. That was great.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. The balance is a bit of a challenge in the morning, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done.
It'd be interesting to see what it's like if try to do it in the evening, whether it'd be easier. Would it be easier to do this balancing? Because I find it really hard.
Yeah, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. And some days you can do it and some days you can't. It's,
Yeah.
some people say it's to do with the moon. Maybe
Well, there we are. I'll blame it on the moon.
yeah, phases of the moon. And today's big day, isn't it? They're calling it Moon Day because it's the what is it, the equinox, the 20th.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
So maybe that's affected us and we haven't been able to balance all day.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a good excuse.
That's
Like the tide.
Yeah. Oh, have a lovely day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Everyone. Bye.
Bye. Bye.